Hello everyone, hope you all are doing well. This is your friend Prakhar. In this video, we'll discuss the last problem of biweekly contest 78. It's a hard level problem. The problem name is substring with largest variance. So let's go to the problem statement. So the problem statement says that the variance of a string is defined as the largest difference between between the number of occurrences of any two characters present in the string. So that means in a string, if we choose two characters and we find the difference between the occurrences of those two characters, then that gives us a value, and the maximum of these values is known as the variance of a string. Now, I also note that two characters may or may not be same. Uh, Now, given a string S consisting of lowercase English letters only, return the largest variance possible among all the substrings of S. Now, again, a substring is a contiguous sequence of characters within a string. So that means for a given string, we need to generate all the substrings and then find the variance of all of them, and then we need to return the maximum variance among those. So let's look into the example. So in the first example, we are given AAB, A triple B. So the output is 3. Let's see how the output is 3. So it says all possible variances along with their respective substrings are listed below. So variance 0. So these are the substrings having variance 0. So if we see the first substring, then it's A. So it says that the characters can be same as well. So in this case, we have only one character. So that means frequency of A minus A. It gives us 0. So that's why the variance is 0. Similar is the case in the second substring. Uh, Number of occurrences of A minus number of occurrences of A. So that's again 0. Let's come to the third substring AB. Now again, we choose A comma B. Now number of occurrences of A minus number of occurrences of B or vice versa, it again gives 0. So for all these substrings, we see that if we choose any two characters, then the difference comes out to be 0, or the variance in this case. If we look for variance equals to 1, then we see here we have AAB. So difference of difference of occurrence of A with occurrence of B gives us 1. Similarly ABA, ABB, and so on. Like, let's look into this one. So it's we have 3A and 4B in this case. So again, the difference will be 1, so the variance comes out to be 1. In this way, if we look into the last thing, so variance is 3 only for this substring, that is BA triple B. So we have 4 occurrences of B and 1 occurrence of A. So the maximum of all these is 3, so we return 3. So it says since the largest possible variance is 3, we return it. Let's look into the second example. It's A, B, C, D, E. Now again, you find, so again, no letter occurs more than once in S. So the variance of every substring is 0, because whichever substring you choose, if that substring is of length 1, then it will be a difference of uh, occurrence of that character minus again the occurrence of that character. So it will always come out to be 0. Now as soon as you start choosing a substring of length greater than 1 in this case, so every character is occurring only once. So that means it will always be 1 minus 1. So it will give 0. So that's why the answer is 0. Uh, let's look into the constraints. Constraint says that the length of the string can go up to 10 raised to the 4, and it only contains English characters. So let's try to understand with the help of a diagram how we can approach this problem. So suppose we have a string A, B, A, B, B, something like this. So one of the approaches, a brute force approach, will be that we generate all the substrings of this particular string and then calculate the variance. That could be one of the possible approaches. So the number of substrings for that will be, again, it's 10 raised to the 4, the length of the string. So it will be big O of n square. So this is not a good solution. It will not pass. Now let's see what could be the other way around. So it says that the string has lowercase English characters. So the number of characters that we can have is 26, right? And In every possible substring, we are choosing two characters, right? We are choosing two characters. Now, how many characters we have? 26. So, how many possibilities we have if we want to choose two characters? It is 26 into 26. That means if we want to choose two characters a comma b from a particular string, then for a we can have 26 possibilities, and for choosing b also we can have 26 possibilities, right? So 26 comma 26. Now if we choose a comma b and try to somehow find that, if suppose a is a character which has minimum frequency for current iteration, and b is a character which has maximum frequency, right? Which has maximum frequency. So if somehow we can find out that for a given a and b, what is the variance that we can get. Now variance in the complete string, so either we can generate all the substrings, or what we can do is that somehow on the fly in linear time only, if we can calculate that what is the variance for given characters a and b in the given string, then we are good to go. Overall time complexity will be O of 26 comma 26 into n, right? And n is 10 raised to the 4. This will come out to be 625 sort of thing, right? So it is roughly 10 raised to the power 7. We go of 10 raised to the power 7. This will very easily pass our uh, within, this will be within our time limit. So now let's see how we can approach this one. We have got a good idea about how we can think this problem. Now let's see what we can do in detail. So what we can do is that, given a string a b, suppose we can choose uh, two possibilities. That in the first possibility we can have a which has minimum frequency, and in that iteration only we can have b which has maximum frequency, right? So we chose two characters. We can choose a as well, but again that will in any ways return 0. When you choose the same character, the answer will always be 0, because the number of occurrence of a minus the number of occurrence of a will give you 0. So no point in discussing this thing. The main point comes when we select two different characters. So let's suppose those characters are a and b. I mean any two characters, and where we consider that a is the character which has minimum frequency and b is the character which has maximum frequency. Now what we can do is that we can start traversing the string. We can start traversing the string, and we can see what is the current character. Now if the current character is, let's take a couple of variables, like for example frequency of a and frequency of b. What we'll do, if we'll encounter the character a, we will increment the count. If we encounter character b, we will increment the count. And then what we can do, we will find the difference at particular point of time. If the frequency of minimum character, if the frequency of minimum character is greater than 0, then we are in a state that we can find the difference. Now even if frequency of b is 0, the difference will come out to be negative, because we will find frequency of b minus frequency of a. If this value is 0 and this value is greater than 0, then this value will come out to be negative. Now we are finding the maximum value, so obviously even in case of negative value, our answer will not vary. So we can do it blindly. The second thing is, now if frequency of b is greater than frequency of a, then we are good to go. We just find the difference and we update our answer if that's the case. The main problem arises when frequency of b is less than frequency of a, because we want that we are considering b is the character having maximum frequency and a is the character having minimum frequency, right? What maximum minimum, they are just two characters, right? Now if suppose frequency of b is less than frequency of a, then what we can do, we can omit the substrings that we have considered till now. For example, suppose we consider this string only a b, we start traversing. Here we want that A is the minimum, A is the character having minimum frequency and B is the character having maximum frequency. So we come here, the frequency of A becomes 1 and frequency of B remains 0. Now we come to B, or just see this case only. So it's 1 and it's 0. Now you just see here that A, the frequency of A is greater than frequency of B, but we want frequency of B should be greater than frequency of A, right? So what we can do, we can discard this thing. We can discard the thing. We can again start from here that frequency of A is 0 and frequency of B is also 0. Now we come here. We increment the count of B. It becomes 1. It becomes 1. So now we know that if we consider this substring, for example, if we consider this substring, then at least uh, we have a one at least one character of B. Obviously, we will not be finding the difference because we need to select two different characters, right? Then again we come to the third part. We come to the third part. The count of A is incremented. Now we again find the difference. It comes out to be 0 and we are good to go. We can update our answer if we want. Then again B comes here. The frequency of B is updated. That becomes 2 and frequency of A is 1. We again find the difference and we will not be making the frequency of A as 0 because we are we are having a benefit right now because considering this we are also getting this, right? So that's why when we consider A we are getting B as well, which is present before A. So that means for every two characters A comma B, consider one as the min character, consider one as the max character, and try to find what will be the variance for this current iteration. And then after all the iterations are complete, you will know that what is the maximum variance that we can find out of all the substrings. Now let's look at the code for this one. So when we come to the code, so we have a 2D array which is equal to the length of the string comma the number of characters. This is done so that for the ith character we know what is the current state of the string. Like for example, uh, initially everything is 0. Now as soon as we encounter the first character, so for frequency of 0, that means for the first index we will have just one character having a value 1, rest all 25 will be 0. So that means for every index I of s dot length we are keeping a track of what is the snapshot of our frequency till now of all the 26 characters. So that's why we have created a 2D array. Now when we come to a 1D array, it calculates the frequency and it will just put it into the frequency array. So we see what is the current character, we increment the count of the current frequency, and then frequency of I will be current frequency dot clone because we want to keep a snapshot. Now we come to our main logic, answer is 0. We start with a nested loop. Here A is, you can consider, like here we have considered that A is the character having minimum frequency and B is the character having maximum frequency. So we check that if both the characters are equal, then obviously answer will be 0. No need to consider this thing. Also, if frequency of any one of them is 0, then we can't consider that case. So that's why we have skipped that particular case. By this I mean, suppose one character is not present in this string, then obviously we can't consider it, right? We need to consider only the characters which are present in this string. Now we have initialized the frequency. We are running a loop here for all the characters present in the string. We see what is the current character. Based on the current character, we increment the count, whether it's A or B. Now, if frequency of A is greater than 0, that means the character having minimum frequency, if it is present here, then all we do is we update our answer. And the second thing is, if A occurs more than B till now, the one that we have discussed in the diagram, that means the frequency of B is less than frequency of A, and frequency of A minus frequency. So this is like if there is another A present after this, what this says that frequency of s of length minus 1 A, that means for the character having minimum frequency, if the difference between the snapshot present at the last index and the snapshot present at the current index, if the difference between them is not equal to 0, that means there is at least one A present after current position as well, because we are updating the index as we saw in the upper loop, right? So this will tell that okay, we have at least one A. If we have at least one A, so what we'll do, we'll skip the strings that we have seen till now. So we make B frequency equals to 0 and A frequency equals to 0, because till now the frequency of B was less than A. So and we want B to be maximized and A to be minimized, or I can say the difference to be maximized. So for that, B should have the maximum possible value, or rather the difference to be maximized, we should have B having a greater value and A having a lesser value. So now here A is having a greater value as compared to B. All we do, we omit the string that we have seen till now, and we just start again from the beginning. We have done this so that we don't need to run any other loop. We can continue with this loop itself. So after all the iteration, we finally get our answer. And yeah, this uh, this is a possible solution for this problem. uh, I would like to thank Amjad, whose solution I referred for this one. Just a second, I'll just try to share. Yeah, I used a different idea in the contest, uh, and but I found it a very good idea. I would say much better than what I thought in the contest. So that's why I discussed this problem. If you can see the screen, so yeah, this is the solution that I referred to explain in this video, because I found it to be better than my solution. So yeah, this is the URL, and this is the solution that has been discussed by Amjad. And yeah. So hope you learned something new from this video, and yeah, do support this video if you by giving a thumbs up, and also do subscribe to the channel. Also do add some comments if you have any queries, and we'll try to resolve it. Okay, thank you. See you in the next video.